Hey, cousins. I know all is well with you guys. I know you're enjoying the content. I know we're having a good time. And you know what else I know? I know there is some pro wrestling fatigue. I know it. Everybody's pretty much tired. They tired and they wore out, and it's overstimulation. It's too much of the product. It's watered down. It's some shit that's going on here, there, everywhere. And to be honest with you, right now, there is really nowhere to get good wrestling because AEW ain't giving it up. I know y'all over there talking about go to AEW. AEW ain't giving it up like that. They not giving it up. They not. Okay? So please, WWE definitely in the woods, in the mud, okay? You understand? Fucking Ring of Honor probably doing they thug thizzle, but you can't fucking find them. And NXT, Paul Leviskate got his hands in NXT. How do I know? Go on over there and tell me what has changed in NXT. He got his fucking claws on NXT. And he running that shit into the ground. They doing the best they can with what they got. Triple A, listen. The only thing that's keeping y'all afloat right now is that audience. Cause he about to bust that shit all the way the fuck out. Talking about I got to revamp Triple A. Here we go. Once they put that that stank on it, that American stank. Shit. Let's go ahead and talk about this right now. Cause y'all know Jake Hager. Jake Hager said he retired. He said he threw with pro wrestling. He ain't got nothing else to give. And he done started a new business. I know y'all don't give a fuck about no Jake Hager, but y'all, he got some tea that he done spilled. And so I just thought it was pertinent because we don't get Tony Khan tea. We get the same little, that little warm kind of stale tea between him and fucking CM Punk. Child, that was a mess. Anyway, he was down to Soraya's rule breakers. Soraya, if you don't know, is Paige. And during the conversation, he had confirmed that he now considers himself retired. And he said he started a new trucking business. Listen, and it got a punny name, whatever punny means. And I quote, I'm getting out of wrestling. I could say I'm retired from it. I started a trucking company, so I'm running routes through Tampa and Florida. I'm not driving, not me. I got a couple people driving. I'm excited. It's something to sink my teeth into. Hard work always pays off. He then confirmed that the trucking company is called Hall and Oates, a pun on the popular group Hall and Oates. Ba-dum-bum, psh, right? If you remember him, he was Jack Hager, right? In WWE, Jack Swagger, excuse me, in WWE. I'm not even gonna hold you. I was not interested in nothing that man had going on in WWE. With all that being said, now he's down to the Chris Van Vliet, and he mixing it up, y'all. He said Tony Khan treated him like a plaything instead of a wrestler. He said Tony Khan was wasting his motherfucking time and playing around with him as if he was going to just like reverse age or something. Child, Jake Hager said, listen, I quote, lo and behold, who comes in the room storming in? Daddy's little billionaire. And he's yelling at us because I think it was Dax and Cash didn't want to come in. They didn't like the storyline, so they refused to come to TV that day. And he was like, he meaning Tony. Listen, I'll put you in a 6-man 6 minutes before the show, and you're gonna do it. And we're all just like feeling disrespected. I still to this day wish I would have stood up and said a lot of things. You just told Sting that you're gonna put him in a 6-man in 6 minutes, and then you're gonna honor him for his retirement. Let me tell you something. What's the most important sentence in that whole statement? I wish I would have stood up and said a lot of things. This is why we as consumers, as fans of any of the products, don't understand what the fuck is going on with these damn wrestlers. Is it because they don't want to say anything because they're scared? Jake Hager's big giant ass let that man talk to his hero Sting any which way. Sting didn't say nothing apparently. Sting probably was like, nigga, please. Y'all know how Sting get down. Anyway, he said, and I quote, "We became little playthings. We had to wait outside his office. His storylines were very good at debuting. Debut. Is that how you say debut? But he could never carry anything through. It got to a point where you couldn't tell him anything. He couldn't take criticism. He was fucking up, and we all just having to deal with it. We all had blood, sweat, and tears put into that company. We were all there at the beginning. We all had our careers behind us that helped build that company. And then we all had to just sit side by side and couldn't do anything because he wanted to run it the way he wanted it to run." Okay, Jake, well, in defense of Tony Khan, that's his goddamn company. So what you wanted to do? What you thought you was finna do? You thought you had pull like that? You was gonna go in there and tell him something? Listen, if it was my company and I had billions on billions on billions, I definitely would love the talent to do some of the work. Go on here. Here's some bullet points. This is where I wanted to go. I want you to bring it to life. I would love that. But just like Hollywood, you ain't Denzel. You ain't Will Smith. You ain't Meryl Streep. You ain't Al Pacino. You ain't Robert De Niro. You ain't Brad Pitt. Okay? And you ain't goddamn Robert Redford. Okay? Those guys, they could go on a Hollywood set and do what the fuck they want to do, how they want to do it. Okay? They can improvise. They could do a little yang. They can get in there and do all kind of stuff. You, on the other hand, are a co-star, right? Supporting cast. You're going to do what you're told. Now, when you had the opportunity to speak up, you chose not to. And so what that communicated to Tony Khan was, oh, all these motherfuckers is going to be up under my goddamn thumb, and I want somebody to say something to me. And the only person that did hold his ass to the fire is one Uncle Phil. FTR says Hager's story didn't happen, and they didn't refuse to work. So Dax Harwood, he real chatty on the Twitter. He get on Twitter and he get real chatty because he like to go back and forth with that dude that I ain't gonna say his name who got them cats and he's like 5'2" and he be loud and stuff down in Queens that drive that Mustang. I bet you like, damn girl, how you know? He brag about it all the time, child. Anyway, Dax said Hager's comments and said not only did they attend the meeting in question, but they never said they wasn't gonna work. He said, and I quote, "Cash and I were at the all talent only meeting that was called by Brian, Jericho, and Mox. Tony never interrupted. Cash and I never refused to show up to work. And dare I say, if you look at our schedule since Collision started, we're the most consistent talent and we both make both shows every week." I'm not really sure where all this is coming from, but it's mostly not true. Mostly don't mean that it ain't true. Mostly means something happened. If it ain't true, say it ain't true. Don't say mostly. So what part is true, Dax? What part is true? Furthermore, Harwood's partner Cash Wheeler posted a screenshot of a new conversation with Hager. According to Hager, he said he thought it was FTR at the meeting. Wheeler pointed out that linking their names to the story makes them look stupid. Hager apologized if FTR was upset with him, but insisted that the meeting he was talking about happened. So the only discrepancy is it wasn't FTR. He wasn't sure. He did say, I'm not really sure, but I believe it was FTR. Okay, cool. But everything else fucking happened. So why the hell are you upset? Y'all could have just said, I think he might have an error because it wasn't us at that meeting. Something happened, but it didn't happen with us. Y'all made it bigger than it needs to be. Y'all made the shit bigger than it needed to be. You ain't had to show no goddamn text messages and shit. Like, what's going on? Now, what Jake Hager did do was open an old can of worms. He peeled back a scab on an old unhealed wound because now the IWC is riled up. And this is the first thing you read from one of the goons. Everyone blaming each other, but the only guilty motherfucker here is Jungle Bitch. His actions made Punk explode and everything went to hell since then. You guys were the company. Since Punk left, I stopped watching. I have followed him to the Fed. Also, TK makes it unwatchable. Do you know how much of a bitch? I unfollowed you and I followed you to the Fed. You just went from one hellhole to another. Ain't they fought them people over there trying to wrestle and stuff, and you just gonna desert everybody? Y'all not loyal, child, please. Somebody said, how fucking soft for you two. I used to think you two were badass for a couple of smaller dudes. You guys have shown you're such bitches that I take your milk money for fun if I saw you in the street. With or without your gun. Jesus, fuck. Grow a pair of balls. I don't know what is going on, but what I do know is Dax and Cash do be chatty Cathy's. They do be like doing a lot of gossip and defending themselves. Child, Jack Hager just had a lapse in judgment and said, I think it was FTR. Y'all went all the way left, and now you got these people riled up in these goddamn comments. All of them got PTSD because they saw their beloved Tony get his ass yanked a little bit by CM Punk before he went ahead and went on back to the WWE. All it really did was make y'all look like some kiss-ups to Tony Khan. Because you could have just let this fester. If it wasn't you, why you even say anything? You could have just text Jack Hager like, yo, that wasn't us, blood. Like, can you figure something else out? He could have came out on his own and been like, listen, I'm not sure who it was, but what happened was true. But I'm not sure if it was Cash and Dax. No, y'all made the shit even worse, child. Man, listen. Now, here's the thing that I don't like. If it wasn't you, tell the rest of the story, bitch. Like, you done came out talking about, it ain't me. Well, then what's the rest? What's the rest of the story? Because you was there. You said you was there with the 3 fucking heads of state, right? You was there, and it just wasn't you that walked off, and y'all was ready to work. So what was going on? Y'all don't never tell the story, and people got to sit here and speculate. That's why people don't be wanting to fuck with Dax Cash and the way they conduct business down to the AEW. That's why they always on X in some damn shit with the fans. Because of what y'all be doing down to the AEW on X, y'all. A mess. So just to recap before we wrap this up. That meeting that happened after CM Punk went ahead and shook the table down to AEW in this text message. Dax or Cash went after Jake. And Jake said, I apologize if you're upset. I said, I think it was you two. I didn't say it definitely was, but that meeting happened. And then they said, I know, but to say I think and then actually say our names make us look like assholes, and it wasn't even us. We're assholes, but we show up for work. And then he said, I apologize. I shouldn't have said your names, especially when I didn't know for sure. That's all that they could have kept this in the goddamn text messages. Now you done put the text message out. You got this man over here looking dumb, and y'all look dumber. The meeting happened. Shit went down. You just want to make sure that everybody know you went to work. Ciao, bye.